Hi, and welcome to a video lesson on finding the mean, median, mode, and range. Here's what you'll learn: how to find the mean, median, mode, and range of a data set, and explore the effect of an outlier. What are the mean, median, and mode? Well, the mean, median, and mode are referred to as measures of central tendency. They're used to represent the middle of a data set or a group of numbers. The mean, more commonly referred to as the average, is determined by adding up all of the data values in a set and dividing that sum by the number of items added together. The median is the middle value of data items once they're arranged in order. And the mode is the value that occurs most often in a data set. This number must occur more than once. If no number occurs more than once, there is no mode. So what is the range? The difference between the greatest data value and the smallest data value in a data set. It's just a subtraction problem, and it's used to show the spread of the data in the set. Let's look at an example. Let's determine the range of this data set. Now, the first thing we should always do is put the numbers in order from least to greatest. And I'm going to cross them off as we write them in order from least to greatest, so that we're sure we used all the numbers in the original list. And the smallest number I see on here is a 20, so I'm going to start by writing a 20 and crossing it off my original list. And the next smallest number is a 27, followed by 29, 33, I see a 46, and I see another 46, and the last digit is a 52. So now all of our numbers are in order. Take the largest number, that's 52, subtract the smallest number, that's going to be the 20, and 52 minus 20 gives us 32. So the range of this data set is 32. It's just as easy as that. Now let's find the mean, median, mode, and range of some temperatures. I have a week's worth of temperatures in my chart here. First thing we should always do in all mean, median, mode, and range problems: put the numbers in order from least to greatest. Cross them off as you use them. That way you're sure you've got all the data ordered from least to greatest from your original list. And the smallest number I see in this list looks like to be a 66. So we'll write that down and cross it off the original list. Have another 66, a 67. There's actually another 67, a 69, and then between the last two I've got a 72 and a 73. Now I know I've used all the data values because all the ones in the original list are crossed off. So what do we do next? Well, let's find the mean first. The mean is the average. How do we find an average? To find the mean, add the data values together. So we're going to add up all 7 numbers that we just put in order, and you're going to find that they total 480. What's the next step? Divide the answer, 480, by the number of items in our list. There were 7 items in our list. So we're going to take 480, divide it by 7. That gives you 68.57. So the mean, when rounded to the nearest tenth, and most of the time the question will ask you to round the answer to the nearest tenth, is going to be 68.6 degrees Fahrenheit. These are temperatures, so let's not forget to put in our units. That's the mean. Now let's find the median of the data. To determine the median, find the number exactly in the center of the data. Now you got to note, the data has to be written in order to accurately find the median. If it's not in order from least to greatest, you're not going to end up with the correct median. We already have the numbers in order from least to greatest, so we start at the ends and just work our way towards the middle. And we find one number exactly in the center, and that's our median. The median is 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Now let's find the mode. To determine the mode, find a number or numbers, there can be more than one, that occur most often. As I look through this list, I see 66 occurs twice, and I also see 67 occurs twice, and that's it. So since both of them occur twice, we're going to have a mode that includes both numbers, 66 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Now let's find the range. If you remember correctly, the range is taking the largest number. In this case it's 73 because they're in order. Subtracting the smallest number, 66. That's going to give us 7. So the range of this data set is 7 degrees Fahrenheit. And here's a list of all our answers in one big box: the mean, median, mode, and range of the temperatures. Now let's talk about something in data sets that can occur once in a while, something called outliers. And what is an outlier? Well, it's any extreme value in your data set. Outliers are any numbers that are significantly larger or smaller than all of the other data values in the set. If there is a number significantly larger and significantly smaller than most of the other data values, then both numbers might be considered outliers. Let's take a look at an example. Determine the outliers in this data set. Well, they're not in order, so the first thing we should always do is put the numbers in order from least to greatest, cross them off the original list as you write them. That way you're sure you haven't missed any. Smallest number I see here is a 2, so I'll write down the 2 and cross it off the list. The next smallest number is 54, followed by a 55, a 60, a 61, and a 68. That's all of our numbers. Now, do we see anything that stands out as being extremely large or small compared to the other numbers? Take a look at them, and sure enough, on the ends is where you're going to find your extremes, by the way. So in this case, I see 2. Looks extremely small compared to all the other outliers, or all the other numbers, so the outlier in this case is 2. Let's look at another data set. These numbers are already in order for us, so that's great. We don't have to put them in order from least to greatest. So all we have to do is take a look at the ends and see what doesn't fit. 10 looks extremely small compared to all the other numbers. It seems we have 2 numbers that are outliers, in fact. The 10 on the low end, and then on the high end, 988. So in fact, this particular set of data has 2 outliers, and they're both 10 and 988. Take a look at another data set. Identify any outliers in the data and tell me, how does it affect the mean, median, and the mode? So what we want to do is find an outlier if there is one and find out how it changes the mean, the median, and the mode. Once again, as with all data sets, first thing we should do is put them in order from least to greatest, cross them off as we use them. Looks like the smallest number on our list is a 40. And I see another 40, 45. Then there's a 46, a 49, and an 89. Okay? So there's our list in order from least to greatest. Now we can answer the questions. First of all, let's identify any outliers in the data below. Can you find any outliers? They're all double-digit numbers, but looks like 5 of them are all in the 40s, then 1 jumps up to 89. So I would think that 89 is going to be our outlier in this case. There's only 1 in the data set, and it's 89. Now that we have our outlier, let's see how it affects the mean. First of all, let's go ahead and find the mean with the outlier. That means we're going to add all the data values together. The 40, the 40, the 45, the 46, the 49, and the 89. That's going to give us 309. What do we do with that number now? Remember, we add them all together and then do what? Divide by the number of items in our list. And we happen to have 6 numbers in our list. So it's 309 divided by 6. That gives us 51.5. So that means the mean with the outlier is 51.5. Let's take a look at the mean without the outlier. That means we're going to add all the data values together except for the outlier. So we're just going to add 5 numbers together this time. That total gives us 220. We're going to take that sum and divide it by the 5 numbers that we added together in our list. So we have 220 divided by 5. That gives us 44. So the mean without the outlier is 44. So now let's take a look at the median, the number right in the middle. To find the median with the outlier, remember, find the number in the center of the data set. So we're just going to work our way into the center, and oops, there's no 1 number right in the center. We have 2 numbers in the middle. But we have to have only 1 number for a median. So what do? In this case, since there isn't 1 number directly in the center, we have to find the average of the 2 numbers that are in the center. That'll give us the median of the data. How do we find an average? We add up the 2 numbers that we're curious about, the 45 and the 46. That gives us 91. And the last step is to divide by the number of items we added together. In this case, we just added two numbers together. So we're going to take 91, divide it by 2. That gives us 45.5. So the median with the outlier is 45.5. Now, let's look at the median without the outlier. That means we're going to exclude the number 89. So I'm going to cross it off my list up there. And we're only going to be looking at numbers from 40 through 49. So that's where we're going to start counting into the center from. So let's count into the center. Now we only have one number right in the middle. Since we have an odd number of data values, there's only going to be one number in the center. So that's easy to figure out our median. Our median without the outlier is 45. Finally, let's take a look at the mode. Since the mode is a number that has to occur more than once, our mode is going to be unaffected in our example because our outlier is only one number. It's just a single number. So the mode is going to be the number that occurs most often. And I see two 40s in this problem. And that's all there is. So the mode with and without the outlier is going to be 40. Now let's analyze everything we've discovered in this problem. We did a lot of work. We found a mean with and without an outlier. We found a median with and without an outlier. We found a mode with and without an outlier. Let's take a look at what we've discovered in this problem. I've created a table here of all the numbers that we've actually just found out. And let's first of all take a look at the mean with our outlier of 89. We found the mean was 51.5. When we removed the outlier of 89, our mean was 44. So how did our mean, or outlier rather, affect the mean of the data? Well, it affected it by making it a difference of 7.5. So let's do the same thing with the median. What happened with the median? Well, when we include the outlier in figuring the median, we ended up with 45.5. When we remove the outlier, our median was 45. So how did the outlier affect our median? There's a difference of 0.5 in our median. And in the mode, with the outlier in place, our mode was 40. Without the outlier, the mode was still 40. And so the difference or the effect of the outlier on our mode is not affected at all. Congratulations! Here's what you learned on mean, median, mode, and range. You learned how to find the mean, median, mode, and range of a data set. And you learned how to explore the effect of an outlier.